Glorifying mental health. Something that happens throughout society, whether it's on social media or in casual conversations, is something that needs to stop. Mental health isn't some quirky aspect of your personality. Oh my god, I'm so depressed. They're clinical disorders that kill people. They are serious hindrances that people have to constantly fight against all over the world every single day. And people make light of those, and that is part of the problem, part of the stigma against mental health. Now, initially, I want to state that I'm not saying or arguing that we need to keep to ourselves when it comes to mental health disorders, nor am I saying that we need to look down on people struggling with mental health. And if anyone watching is struggling, I'm going to leave links below on how to get help because it is something that we need to sort out as a society. I myself have recently trying to be open about my mental health through this channel and within my own friendships. But there is a huge difference between being open and being honest and trying to educate people and making light of disorders that people are suffering from. Countless times I go on social media and I see people making jokes and making light of serious disorders that they may or may not have. Whilst it might be a good coping mechanism for you, it might upset someone. Regardless of whether you have the diagnosis or not, or how comfortable you are talking about your mental health, making light of it and making jokes of it not only downplays the severity, but it also trivializes it. It makes it seem like some desirable thing that is trendy and is quirky, and that is not the case. It's crazy to me that people are doing this. Just look how many memes came up when talking about bipolar disorder. That is a disorder that is largely misunderstood within society, and making memes of it doesn't help. And this happens with countless disorders, OCD, and even with depression and anxiety. OCD isn't liking an even number on a remote. Depression isn't just feeling a bit tired. OCD is recurrent obsessions and compulsions. There's extreme anxiety if you don't fulfill rituals every single day. Depression is a persistent feeling of sadness and worthlessness. And these disorders are being trivialized. By definition, mental health disorders, to be diagnosed, needs to significantly and clinically impact you in a certain way, whether it's occupational or socially. Please explain to me how liking your pencils in the right order does this. Now, I'm not usually someone that gets annoyed at this kind of thing because I understand that people making joke and making light is not them trying to hurt anyone, but they might just be sort of hopping on the trend. But there's such a huge misunderstanding and misperception within society when it comes to mental health disorders, and there's a feeling of isolation and loneliness that people experience when they have these disorders, and this isn't helping. We need to create an environment, obviously, in which we can educate and talk about it openly, but we don't need to make jokes about it. When we make light of mental health disorders, we are mocking the experience of those living with it and furthering that feeling of isolation and seclusion from everyone else. And yes, humour is a coping mechanism. If it helps you feel better, joking around with your friends about the experience you're having, making light of it, that's not an issue. But when it becomes public, it affects a wide range of people. Not only could it upset someone experiencing that mental health disorder, but it also reinforces that misconception that society has of those disorders. Like the OCD, like the depression, making jokes of it, subconsciously or consciously, provokes that, oh, depression is feeling tired, or oh, OCD is liking coloured pencils in the right order. It's not the case. Just imagine you're going through a really tough time and you've been diagnosed with depression. Imagine you see this.
Depression, I got it. Anxiety, I got it. Heartbreak, I got it. Therapy, I got it. Friends, don't got it. Boyfriend, don't got it. Self-love, don't got it. But hey, please.
Like, what? How in any way is this sensitive to those who have suffered with depression? Which is a huge number of people, by the way. I've got a mental health disorder that kills millions. Now, whilst in this example, I'm sure this girl didn't mean any harm, surely you can see how making light of these disorders is insane. Someone who misunderstands or is uneducated on the severity of these disorders is going to see that and see it as something trendy and something that's just a little bit quirky and doesn't inhibit people's lives in a clinical and serious way. This happens on the daily when people post on social media. It needs to stop because it trivializes these disorders and it makes them seem like they're not really serious things. So many disorders like bipolar, like anxiety, like depression are linked to suicides. What can seem like a harmless joke about something serious may within your friendship group not have an impact, but you don't know what other people are experiencing, especially on social media. You can make different jokes around different people if you have that information about them. For example, I know the boundary when it comes to my friends, but I don't know everyone on my Facebook. As bad as that is, I don't, and I don't know what everyone has experienced. So how am I supposed to know how they're going to take a joke? How am I supposed to know what they're going to perceive, what they're going to understand from that joke? I know that the people around me are educated enough to know that if I make a joke that sort of trivializes mental health, they know that I'm joking because they're educated, because they're not going through it themselves. But I can't say that for everyone on my Facebook. I'm not arguing we can't use humour to express ourselves or use social media as a medium to educate people. There is a time, a place, and a way of doing it in which is innocuous and doesn't have a negative impact on other people. Anyway, to avoid going in circles, I'm going to end the video there. I don't know, I just think making public jokes about such serious things that there is a lot of misunderstanding about isn't the best thing to do. Mental health is extremely complex, it's extremely misunderstood, and it's so widespread that when you make a joke on a public platform, you don't know the impact it's going to have. And whilst you can make these jokes to people you know because you have so much more information about them, I think on a public platform, it's not a good thing to do. It's important to use whatever position you have on social media or even within your own friendship groups to educate people and to change those stigmas and to emphasize the importance of open conversation. Because people with mental health disorders often feel so alone and they feel so isolated and confused. So if we create an environment in which we can talk about it openly, that will save millions of lives. Anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed the video and please remember to show your support, like and subscribe. I'm hoping to make a difference on this channel, even if it's a small one. I hope everyone's well and I will see you all again soon. See you later.